What's up guys, we are back again with another problem. Today we need to calculate the maximum number of k-sum pairs. So what is a k-sum pair? A pair which when we sum two numbers, it should give a value which is equal to k. So for example, in this array, 1 and 4 gives a sum of 5 and 2 and 3 gives a sum of 5 again. So how many number of k-sums pair are there? There are two pairs, 1 and 4 and 2 and 3. Now we need to calculate the number of k-sums pair. We have seen this problem before where we need to calculate if there exists a pair such that its sum is equal to k or not. Now we just need to elaborate that. The question is how many pairs exist such that their sum is equal to k. So how are we going to do that problem? In this problem I had to look for the hints. It is although an easy problem, but I was facing some issues with it. So what I learned is we are going to use a hash map here. So let's do this. A hash map of integer and a integer. There, I'll name it a map and it would be new hash map. Done. Now what I want is I want it to be properly indented. Other than that, what I want is my pairs. So how many pairs do I have? But this number actually, if we use our algorithm, won't give us the pairs. It would give us the number, both numbers. I'll explain you how. Now what I'm going to do is, in a for loop, I'll insert my the times it occurs in an array. I'll insert that into a map. So I'll keep a track of it. How many times does that number occur? If it's 0, that my map won't contain that number. So I would do num comma if it exists, I'll write that map dot get means if it exists, or if it does not exist, use this default value FUALT DEFUALT, my mistake there. I want to use num if it exists, use that. I'm so sorry for that. And a 0 if it's not. And then what I want to increment it by 1. If it exists once, I need to increment the 0 to 1. If it does not if it exists more than one time, it would increment automatically. Then what I'll do is, in another for loop, this time I would not traverse my array, because I'm done with my array now. All the number in the arrays are present in my map. So I would traverse in my num dot map dot key set. Okay, and here what I want to check is that number is if we are iterating in this, num1 is present there. We need to calculate num2 such that num1 plus num2 equals to k. So this should be equals to k minus num1. Now what we want to do is, we want to check if it exists or not, and if it exists, we want to calculate. Let's check if map dot contains key which is equal to num2. If it does, what I want to do is, I want to add it to my number of pairs, and that would make it equal to maths dot minimum of I'll explain you why I use this maths dot minimum there. I want to get map dot contains key, and that is my num1, comma map dot contains key, comma num2. Okay, and at the end I want to return my pairs divided by 2. Okay, and let's check if it runs. Now I'll be explaining you what happens here. This loop enters each and every element present in the array into this map, and along with it, the value of how many times does it occur in that array. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to calculate that num2 which exists here or not. What is that number 2? Number 2 should be a number such that num1 plus num2 should be equal to k. So num2 is k minus num1. Now we are checking if num2 exists in our map. That means if it exists in our array or not. Then if it exists, let's say we have an array 2, 2 and 3. Let's do it here. 2, 2 and 3, and our k is equal to 5. Then how many pairs do I have? I only have one pair, which is 2 and 3. No matter which 2 I pick, if I pick a 2, I had to remove it. Remember, in one operation you can pick two numbers from the array whose sum is equal to k and remove them from the array. Now I have to remove it from the array, so that means my modified array would look something like this. So if I have a number a and it is a part of a pair AB, but it occurs more than the times B occurs, then it has no value. I cannot do anything with it. I can only take the value of B, which is the minimum value. Whichever the number which occurs less time, I have to take that. Then what I have to do is I have to divide my pairs by 2, because in that way what I have done is, if let's say my 2, 3, again let's take this example, my 2 is added, so my maps looks like 2, 2 and 3, 1, because 3 occurs once and 2 occurs twice. Then what happens is it goes on to my 2 and it calculates num. So my num1 is equal to 2 and my num2 is equal to 5 minus 2, which is equal to 3. Now it checks if my map has 3. Yes, it does. Then what it checks is it calculates my pair. Right now my pair is equals to 0, which we'll change to the minimum number of occurrence of 1 or 2. So the minimum number of occurrences 1, which is the number of time 3 occurs. Then it will move on to this, the part of 2 is done. Then we'll move on to 3, because we are iterating the map and not the array. So now in 3, what happens is, for 3, my num1 is equal to 3 and my num2 is equal to 5 minus 3, that is equal to 2. Remember why I have to divide this by 2 is because I am not removing this 2 there. If I would have removed this 2 as well as this 3, I would not have to do anything. It would just be finished by then, but I didn't. So now my pairs equals to 1, and what I am doing to it is I'll again add 1. Then my pair would be equal to 2. Now that's the issue. The number of pairs that I have is just 1, but my algo is returning 2. So it is calculating pairs for both number, for 2 as well as for 3. So what I need to do is I need to correct the mistakes. Yeah, my map does not exist. Map.get or default default. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, it calculates the pair for 3 as well as for 2. Okay, and what's the issue here? Oh, I'm so sorry, I used contains key here. It should be get. I need the value there and not contains key. Of course it contains the key, that's why we are in this loop, but I need to get the value out of it. Yeah, anything else? No. That's why it's better to run your solution before submitting it on anything. Yeah, that is it, and that's it for this video, guys. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. Thank you so much.